Commissioner Stinson. Commissioner Montoya. Vice Chair Scott.
Here.
Commissioner Mayers.
Here.
Commissioner Bernstein.
Here.
Commissioner Bacon.
Here.
Chairman Metcalf.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr.
Approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of December 4th, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. New business. Coolidge 240937. A conditional use permit requested by Louise Varela of La Ponaraca Ice Cream for a drive-through associated with Coolidge Food Restaurant as listed in the General Service C3 zoning district, section 603D10, as located at 510 South Arizona Boulevard, also being situated southwest of the intersection of Arizona Boulevard and Coolidge Avenue. APN number 20411-0010. Phil.
I can go right into it. Okay, this is a request, as stated, for a conditional use permit for a drive-through for our ice cream and coffee shop as well too, as seen here in this location, this portion of Coolidge and Arizona Boulevard. Our next exhibit, the general plan map, shows our subject site here within the downtown core, within the light blue. As you can see, the majority of the area in near proximity is also the downtown core land use. The other predominant land use in this graphic here is the urban neighborhood land use. Our zoning district and the subject site is here within the light blue. This is the C3 General Services. As you can see on both sides of Arizona Boulevard and the majority of Coolidge Avenue, we have a similar C3 district. A little bit of R1 here, some R3 in these areas, and an R4 back here in this area. Couple of photographs. This is the site looking generally northwest from Arizona Boulevard. Just since we're going to talk about it here, the driveway would come southbound here on the other side of the building for its primary loading, circulate around the building here and come around here for the pickup window here, but we'll look at the site plan for that. This is the site. Generally looking southwest from Arizona Boulevard, southwest this direction. Once again, the pickup window would be here, the last portion of the drive-through wrapping around the building. And this is the west side of the building, looking south for where the drive-through would start coming off of the street here. So the graphic that's been provided was the information that we had used in the building permit process. So the applicant for the conditional use permit basically took this base plan and added some of the red diagrams here. As called out before, here is where the loading zone, or excuse me, the loading queue would begin for the cars coming southbound on this side of the building, wrap around this area. The order menu would be in this location approximately. There'll be a curbed area here with some DG in it to provide a little bit of a buffer here so that nobody's cutting the corners here too much. And then it will complete its route coming around to this portion of the building where the pickup window would be in this location. The departure would be from this direction, generally probably to this driveway here, back onto Arizona Boulevard or potentially down over here. The existing handicap and another parking spot are in this location. To facilitate the drive-through, these will be shifted over in this area. Some concrete bollards will be installed here to provide a little bit of a safety factor between the edge of the drive-through here and where some parking would be. Some other parking spaces that were originally in this location will be relocated up here and here, and then the trash location would be relocated over in this place. So this is the basic site plan here. This is the request for the conditional use permit. The applicant is here to answer any additional questions that we have, and I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Anybody have any questions about this application?
Me too.
Give it to
All right. I had a couple of questions about the setup of the drive-through. One being would there be some we just modified Coolidge Avenue. And so if you're coming to make a left-hand turn to go into the drive-through here off of Coolidge Avenue, we also have people that back up off the liquor store there, that park right there, and I just foresee some bang-ups going on there if there's not some type of traffic control issue going on there, you know what
you.
I?
No, they're not gonna be, they're just gonna come in off from Arizona Boulevard.
No, they're
Or off
coming-
from-
No,
off
Coolidge.
from
No, they're
Coolidge
coming
Avenue.
off of Coolidge Avenue, right
Yeah.
here at this location.
right.
One of the things I didn't mention, and I'll go back to the site plan, is we sat down and very carefully discussed this with the building department and the fire chief to make sure that there was some travel lanes through there, outside of the drive-through itself, and to make sure that there was enough room to wrap around the building for that very reason, so that there would not be spillover of traffic backing onto Coolidge. So this should be adequate to service the types of customers, even at peak times, that they would have. So we discussed that very closely, so.
Okay, and then the other question I had was, once they picked up their items from the drive-through window, and then they're gonna have to make a sharp right-hand turn as to not hit these
Ballards.
ballards here.
The picture looks like it's close, but the yellow spot, that's actually the window, so it's back from the bollards.
Okay, all right. I just,
And I have a
pe-
request.
pe- people just aren't as good as drivers as we think they are.
Can we get the state highway department to put right-hand turn only? Cause that's a bad corner, because you got the turn lane, you got two lanes going south, two lanes going north.
Well, the one thing to remember too is that they're not making any modifications to the driveways here, or the entrance exits here. So it's kind of a known quantity, but at the same time too, it's 35 mile an hour zone along here. I believe it's the same along this section here. We did discuss this, but given the site and its ability to have this use here with the drive-through, this is the maximum solution to have brought it around this side of the building, as previously had
I
been.
agree with that.
Yes.
That's the max.
And if you rem-
Solution, but to get back on the boulevard,
They can require a right-only turn to go back, 'cause it's too close to the.
Oh, is that what, a sign, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, well, yes, of course. We, in fact, actually, for Line and Fire that's across the street, the way we worked with them as far as coming off of Arizona Boulevard and then exiting on the other street southbound of their thing, they will be installing one-way signs there for that type of thing. So if we were to ask them, and it's up to the applicant, and they can answer this question too, to have right-only turn and stuff, that we could have them put a sign there for that.
right turn only, because that will make everybody safe, or safer. Because we got another problem
ahead.
across the street that I'm gonna bring up in just a minute.
And if you recall, it was a gas station, it was Walt's old gas station, they
Yeah, I
in and
know.
out everywhere, and then it was a hand car wash before that. There
And
used a lot of
this
traffic.
used to be the main highway going from Phoenix to Tucson too.
It was a lot more
And
busy,
We
yeah.
had a lot of wrecks on the corner of Coolidge Avenue and Arizona Boulevard. And we still have a lot of
Still
wrecks
do.
there for another reason.
Well, we've got the applicant at the mic if you'd like to ask more
Okay.
direct questions, or let him speak to this.
Does that sound like a reasonable situation to you?
No, yeah, it does. It makes sense. So you're looking for the one coming, what I would say, northest entrance there?
Right, that first exit there going onto the highway, I put no exit.
No left turn.
or
No.
no, no,
Don't even let them go out there because it's so close to the light that they have to sit there forever to get out anyway. And make them go back out that second exit, right turn only.
Okay, yeah,
I
that
mean,
sounds reasonable.
I'm just throwing that out.
Honestly, I don't think we can block that drive because that's pre-existing. But if the owners want to throw in the sign, because it's private property, for right turn only, I think that would cover a lot of it.
Well, yeah, if they turned right there out of either one of those exits, they would be okay.
And Mr. Chair, Commissioners, if I may, ADOT was involved also when we put the other businesses in. They didn't block off any of the entrances.
Right.
Because we're working with existing businesses, they want to help them. But it would be, we could put right-hand turn only, the owner could, but without, and letting people turn right when it's clear. And that should be enough because ADOT didn't require it to be closed.
Yeah,
They-
see,
yeah.
that's such a bad corner, cause you
Yeah,
got
it
that
is.
big box sitting there, you
Right.
got the poles for the light sitting there, the street light sitting there.
Yeah.
It's really a blind corner if you pull up there and stop.
Yeah, all these projects that are on the boulevard usually get ADOT approval or they get review. And if it's something they consider that we should block, they will tell us
I
that.
just
But in
hate-
this case, they didn't do that. And
Hate
so,
to see accidents happen
Yeah, well, absolutely.
when we can help prevent them.
Yep.
Okay. Now, go ahead.
No, yes, we wouldn't have an issue with putting in a right turn only sign there.
Good. Anybody have any more questions for the owner?
Yeah. Could they possibly put in like a safety mirror? So like, when somebody wants to exit, they can see what's coming. So, there's a blind spot. So if they're able to see possibly on the mirror, maybe that would be able to reduce, accidents and stuff.
Put one out there. Have to be out at the highway to get.
They couldn't add it on their property?
No, there's no
No.
poles or anything to put anything like that up out there.
Well, when you think like of something like the old Dairy Queen in Casa Grande, how they have it in theirs, because, it's right there at that light.
Yeah.
And there's like a little safety mirror, but I don't know how they attached it to their property. So maybe we could possibly look into that.
That's something we can work with the applicant on.
Yeah.
I've got a question. I was just curious why you wanted to put the drive-through window in the front of the business. Kind of really takes away from the eye appeal. And it kind of would appear to be kind of an eyesore. If you look at all the other businesses along the boulevard that have a drive-through, it's always on the side. Is there anything on the
Commissioner
code
Scott,
on that?
yeah, that was due to meetings with the fire chief and the building for traffic loading, so we didn't have the spill out onto the road like the bottle stop does. It's for more of a safety buffer for in case they get a, overload of customers.
Yeah, that's not my question. The question is, it's a nice looking building
I
right
know,
now.
I know.
But if you put like a, a drive-through window up in the front, I mean, it's kind of a distraction. I thought we were working on the boulevard to make it look appealing or consistently better.
Well, in this particular case, as one might recall what the site had looked like in recent years, the applicant has come a long ways in making the building and the site look very nice. In this case, we have a lot of confidence, and of course, they'll be coming back through the building permit process with us for this additional work here, that they will propose something that will look nice and
That's
complement the
exactly
site.
my point.
Yes.
That the building looks great compared to where it was, last 30
Yes.
years I've lived here.
We have a lot of confidence that
And we
they'll
have
continue to
parking
do
in
that.
front of
yeah.
there too, so there's cars that they move the
But,
parking.
yeah, but, putting the drive-through in the front takes away from the beauty of the building.
Originally, you wanted to put it back.
The pass-out window.
Yeah, the pass-out window.
And maybe tell them you wanted it back.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Chairman Scott, it sounds like from the conversations with fire chief, he is looking for the ability to have, let's just say it's a very busy time. He wants the most amount of vehicles that can be in the drive-through without backing onto the street. And based on this, they could be loading, you can have probably eight to 10 cars all the way around it. And so the likelihood of it backing onto Coolidge Avenue is going to be smaller than across the street where you can only have 2 or 3 before they're back on the street.
It was also important, if not help dictate how the design came about, to make sure that there was an open travel lane that would be unencumbered, unblocked, moving through this portion of the site, connecting into here, going either way. So all this came together to create the site as you see it now.
What happened too, is originally, I think they wanted to do the window in the back, like you mentioned, but then there wasn't any place for the cars, so then they thought about here, but they have all kinds of equipment there. That's the air
That's what
conditioning.
causes us not to be able to
Air
put it here,
conditioning
right?
there.
The equipment.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, the
That's why they
inside the
wanted to do
building.
this after they went through all that review and everything, so that's the best solution at this point.
Okay, yeah, it's,
Originally at the top, but then there was not enough room for park.
So,
That's the issue.
yeah, that'd be the only one in town that has the drive-through window in the front of their
I know,
business.
yeah, we think it's.
They've done a good job, and we believe they'll keep doing a good job.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that they're not gonna do a good job, I'm just saying it's eye appealing when you're driving by. That's my thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I mean, look,
You have a motion?
Public hearing?
Public hearing.
Oh, public hearing. Oh, yes. Forgot, sorry. The floor is open for public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name, and tell us what you think. Nobody coming? Public hearing is closed. Have a motion?
I motion to approve Cool PZ 24-09-37 and Resolution 25-01 as presented.
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Cool PZ 24-12-47, a rezoning application for the city of Coolidge Regional Park to change a portion of the park from a zoning designation of agriculture AG zoning district to that of a general business C2 zoning district on 5.81 acres of land as located southeast of the intersection of West Coolidge Avenue and South Skousen Road. APN number 209-25-0020.
This is a rezoning for the Coolidge Regional Park, taking this location here that we'll talk about a little further from agricultural to C2. While we're on the site exhibit here, I'd like to call out that this is the, within the blue area, the representation of the overall regional park. The portion that we're discussing tonight, called out by the parcel number, is actually currently at the recorder's office, a 40-acre piece that is right here, as once again part of the regional park. The portion that we're rezoning tonight, or considering, is about 5.8 acres in this location. So that's the relationship to it. Doing our usuals.
Enough?
Huh?
Is that, we can come back and rezone some more if there's any more ones.
Well, the part I'll be getting to is actually we've engaged one of the best design firms in Arizona to actually assist us with the park. So as far as like the usage of it, the way that they've proposed laying it out, and some of the things that we can talk about if it gets that far, make this a very ideal location. And it's actually designed to very much interface with the park and draw people from one side to another. You'll see that. Here we go. The general plan calls out the portion we're talking about tonight. Here, this 40 acres, the overall park as being urban neighborhood. This other portion was designated as industrial manufacturing, but these designations have been in place for a couple of decades. So no matter which the land use, but the regional park will be in this location. Looking at the zoning, once again, talking about agriculture. Everything in the green on the site here is agriculture, some to the west, some to the east, some planned area development to the north. And once again, our subject location is also in the green there for the ag to be rezoned A2, or excuse me, C2. Couple of site photos. This one is looking to the northeast in this direction from North Skousen Road. The corner of it is right up here, and the parcel kind of comes down to about here. So I tried to get a little bit more of the overall site so you can see what it looks like there. As we move to the southeast here, this is just standing a little bit away from the corner, basically the intersection of North Skousen Road and West Coolidge. West Coolidge direction here. The site would be in this area, the greater park, further out in the distances here. And this is sliding a little bit further along West Coolidge Avenue, the corner of the site being right up in this area here. So we're back over here about 600, 700, 800 feet, and we're generally looking southwest. So you can get a general idea what the site looks like. This is a survey that has been prepared that will basically bring in the overall park. Once again, the 40 acres we are talking about is this area here. This side of what will be the park is actually part of a parcel that goes a little bit further to the south over here. So this will be recorded, creating this portion as Lot 1, or about 69.5 acres. This portion, which is the commercial element we're talking about tonight, would be 5.8 acres. So between the two of them, you've got about a total of 75 acres, and since it's traditionally an 80-acre site, the remaining portion would be those half-street areas that would be dedicated along Skousen and then Coolidge to make the normal 80 acres that you would see in a case like this. So this is some stuff that has been shared with the council. It is a very nice design park. We have met with them almost weekly, every other week for at least a year. And a lot of thought and design has been put into this. So to the questions that you were asking, Mr. Chair, here is a proposal of how the site could look. More than likely, we would, in the negotiation or working with a private developer, ask them to develop it like this. The reason being such is that the park is designed to interface with the commercial development, so there's sort of a visual reference of an invitation, as a designer might say, to coming into the areas of these shops and retail locations. And then, of course, an invitation to kind of come out into the park here. So there'll be no walls here. There's access here, some other nice enhanced landscaping between the two subject parcels here. And it's very much a symbiotic relationship between the two different locations that will sort of blend into one and would add a very nice feel to this location, a part of the community.
That's why I asked, is there gonna be enough?
It should be.
You can't add any, you can go south, but you can't go any other way.
There's been very specific plans prepared for this, so it better work. But like I said, we have one of the best design consultants in the entire state that's been helping us with this for a long time.
Hey, I just thought I'd ask.
Okay.
Is that gray part the parking lot?
I'm sorry?
Is that gray part the parking lot?
The internal portion? Well, the parking for the site, conceptually, as it's laid out right now, would be internal to the site alone.
To the south, Phil. That's
Oh,
where
yeah,
the-
some of this is parking for the park.
That's where the archery range lies right now. There's a archery range.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, I
I was.
thought
This
you,
is the archery range.
right.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
existing,
because
we're
it
gonna leave it
wasn't
there.
identified. I know there's the archery.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what that is.
I'm sorry, I thought you said parking, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this doesn't include the archery range.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was planned that way.
It'll be blended in, overall park plan design. Eventually, there'll be some berming and other things. into the park. But right now, it's just showing the design that Logan Simpson.
It'd be
Yes.
modernized and updated.
And you have the parking spot for the gentleman that sells the.
No.
That was cold.
So all things equal, once again, this is just to designate this portion, the 5.8 acres, to the C2 zoning, which has been part of the master park plan design with the park here, and that is the consideration for this evening. So for our discussion, I'll leave this on the overhead. I can move back to the other graphics as necessary, but at this time, I turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Where is the parking lot? All over? Spot and beside the trees or?
It's all of this right here.
Okay.
Like pickleball courts here, playground areas, this is a great lawn. This is like, what is it, performance area?
And you can see the little parking areas that they have, we'll show them that right there, Phil. to them.
Yeah, parking is all along here in these areas right here and up here.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, there's parking throughout, and then the rounds, so it'll go in phases first. So the road will come in first, and then we figure the dog park, the splash pad, some of those things will go in first. And then as we go through and get more funding, then we'll keep adding things to it. And, but the plans have everything, the electrical, the infrastructure, everything that goes into a park. There's quite a bit that's under the ground. And believe it or not, and that's what takes a while to plan all that out. And then the infrastructure for the lights, they have lights and everything. And there'll be some walking trails around the whole thing. And then they'll tie into that. On the corner, you'll see a little bit of deviation because there's some big WAPA power lines coming up. And so you'll see, that's why Phil said this is proposed what it could look like, but they'll fit it in with businesses that will require businesses. And there's a narrative that we have that will complement the park. Could be like a soda fountain place, ice cream shop, maybe a place to buy pickleball stuff, things like that that'll work with the park to enhance it. So we're going to be very specific when we sell it and put it on the market of what we want to see. So they can't just flip it and do whatever. I mean, it'll be a real nice to complement the park. That's the design.
This is the first piece of the puzzle for this park, kicking this park off. This has been in the design phase for a couple of years, about $400,000 deep into this. So this is part of the puzzle to join the parcels, break out that corner parcel, rezone it, and start packaging it up for a sale, with strict guidelines and regulations well, I don't know the time frame. They just threw it in my lap this last month. I think my time frame is next month.
Yes, we have some funding in the impact fees that we'll use to start with. But I think what we'll do is we'll start packaging that and we'll tie the development of that to the park probably is what they'll want to see. So, we're hoping to start on the roadway as soon as we can. And once we get the plans, we should get the plans from Logan Simpson within this month.
This month,
complete.
yeah, we're pushing them
And then
hard
we
for
can
it.
then put some bids out for the infrastructure for the civils for the grading. And then, then we'll get dirt.
25,
so-
26, we'll have.
Yeah,
some
yeah,
of
it's
it.
not gonna happen overnight, but as we go through, and then we'll apply for grants for some of that. I know Ben's doing that, and so there's a lot of variety of resources. We'll just keep building it out. Yeah, so there's other options too, if we wanted to go forward with, if the public decides they want to see this overnight quickly, then you could city decides to go for bonding, something like that. But I think right now, our plan is just to go with the money we have in the impact fees, and then build the road first, put the dog park. We have money from the dog park from, I think, Akchin, I think is where that money came from. So we got a
Yes,
grant from them
yes,
for the dog
that
park.
sounds
So
right.
that part will go in first so we can comply with the grant. And then at the same time, we'll be marketing and doing that for that piece and then put it out there. So they'll just kind of move concurrently.
And that
That's
piece
our
will
plan.
help fund a lot of the work that we're starting for the dog park and the roads.
Yeah, so giving its proper zoning will actually facilitate the potential sale of it, so.
I was just curious what low-intensity retail is. What would be an example of that here in town?
Well, mostly, like it says, the definition, basically, it calls out goods and services, so it could be a dry cleaner, ice cream shop. If I wasn't dating myself when I was practicing this afternoon, I actually said video store, so been in the past, but. No. Way back, yes. So some of the uses that the C2 call out, just give me a moment here. I'll just scan them around our apparel, accessory stores, art supply, clothing, costume rental. Oh, yeah.
The narrative on it.
Well, right, but that's the definition, but since this is what it's allowed, hobby stores, music stores, offices, picture frame shops, restaurants, yeah, obviously. There's all kinds, the way that a lot of the individual things from like Panda Express to the ice cream places and different things, they would be well suited to locate in a location like this. So hopefully a very good mix of different types of services and goods for sale.
Play it again, sports would be good, right?
That would be nice. Yeah, actually got it. I've actually got it right here.
Could we possibly look into like a lease to build? Like look at other companies and get contracts with them so you guys could keep it and then get revenue off of it, upwards to, 50 years instead of, selling it and they get the revenue for 50 years, because there's a lot of companies, that probably be in contact with you guys, whether it's going to be something like Pinal County government and stuff like that, that want to partner and like lease it from you guys so you guys don't have to sell it.
Yes, Chair, Commissioners, we've looked at Jeeplets, that's what they called. But what happens is when some of those, sometimes, like a great example of that is Tempe. A lot of that, where Depot Canteen and all that stuff was developed, the city bought the property, leased it out for long-term, and it works out great. Except the legislature decided that the city, they didn't like the city incentivizing the businesses that much. So they raised the tax that you have to charge, I think it's 8 or 10%, where the city was at first charging like 2 to 3 to get them going and then adjusting it later. So some of the businesses, unless they own the ground, they won't invest the money because they want to, it's like the airport. We can't sell the land because of the FAA regulations and they prohibit us from selling, so we do 30-year leases so they can get a loan on the hangars and all that. But in a case like this, I think if you're, some of the businesses, it's a good idea, but I think in this case, they might, we could look at that, but I think they may balk at not owning the piece because they want to own where the building's going. But yeah, we've looked at Jeeplets for different things, and we kind of have that at the airport to some degree.
Yeah, it's really hard. They don't want on the ground. At the airport, we own the ground, we lease it for 30 years or whatever, and they do the lease extensions. But at the end of the lease, it returns, everything they built returns to us. They do get, certain, incentives for that, but that's the reason why it's so slow growing out there, because they don't own the land, and they are always asking if they can buy the land, but it's encumbered by the grant insurances. Where this has always been planned for a sale to fund this. But there's gonna be strict milestones, it's gonna be strict of what we allow there, and then, whoever bids on it's gonna have to follow through. They can't just flip it. And this was part of the design and then the discussions with the council, and this is kind of their wishes to get this packaged up and going
Okay.
to start the park.
So since they can't flip it, that quick, is that gonna like hinder like the sale? Because there's a lot of people that are like investment, groups. They want to get their money back. They're not gonna hold on to it for like 10 years.
You
For
want
like,
somebody that's gonna grab it and build it,
We want a partner.
abide by our rules,
okay.
or they don't buy it.
Oh, okay.
We'll be looking for specific technical that wants to help the park, but also.
Be a partner with us.
Not just the profit, but assist the city in making that facility. So we'll reach out to some of the big players that we have, and they say, you know what, we're building this over here, it's big development, we're gonna help develop this park, because it'll help their business eventually. So, that's what we're hoping.
So the park itself, the major part of the park is gonna be owned by the city?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the whole park, it's all owned by the city now, so we'll be, yeah.
I was just wondering where their revenue is gonna come from for the upkeep of the park.
To some degree, the sale will go into the park. We anticipate putting the money from the sale of the park, so we can continue to build it, and then there'll be other revenue sources. But the general upkeep of the park will be in the park's budget, as we keep all the parks that we have.
We lease, the parties, we lease the ball field, we have certain revenue generation functions for that. But it's a park, it's gonna cost, and
We have fees that we charge the council. Try to make it fair, they're not too
property
expensive,
tax.
But they don't usually. They're not
No.
to make it, yeah.
Of course. No. Okay, sorry. Off topic.
That's fine.
that's fine.
This is one subject that we can get off topic, because we need to get out of the box and make sure that we're looking at everything that needs to be looked at. I know Gilbert has put in many hours on this project already.
All of us, yeah, there's a whole bunch.
Everybody has, I know it.
Everybody wants to see it move faster than it does, but these take a long time.
I'll be on your side if you'll get somebody to put some Christmas lights up next year on the south end. If that don't happen,
Yeah.
I'm not on your side.
Okay, well, we promise. We're starting early on that.
Good.
Not waiting till the end. Oh, by the way, I already talked to, our parks. So, we'll promise we will.
I know you will. I heard Tom Shope raising Cain about it
He did.
in a city council meeting on TV the other day.
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
Public hearing.
I got a question too.
Oh, go ahead.
Just so I understand it for sure, it's 40 acre parcel, but we're gonna split that parcel down to the 5.4 and just do it?
Once again, the easy way to understand it is to look at the regional photo here. This square is 40 acres. This is the parcel number, what you would see if you went to the county recorder. This will designate this portion unto itself, and the remainder of the park would be one piece, which once again, for the survey,
Split that parcel.
It'll join
we're
those two
basically
parcels.
re-recording.
And
yeah,
break off the corner.
We're doing a split, a replat, if you will. So this will be lot 1, 69 and a half acres. This would be its standalone lot 2, right here at 5.81.
And it cleans some things up. It cleans up the highway easement that's not
Yes.
gonna happen in the corner. It establishes the Wapaline easement and all the, all the setbacks for the city. And there were some right of ways and some easements, so
Yes.
that'll all be cleaned up also.
WAPA lines are up, you go out to the site, these are, WAPA stands for Western Area Power Administration. They move power throughout the United States, but they're federal. And they come across this way like that and go right next to Heartland.
Yeah, right down Skowson, yeah.
Along the U.S. Department of Energy.
Yeah.
So that's what WAPA stands
Western Area Power Authority.
for. Western
Administration.
Administration.
I actually worked there for about 18 months.
Bill used to work there.
My question on it then is, can we actually make this motion and rule on it until it's split?
Well, it's already
Yes.
split. So
We just split off?
This is the survey.
this goes to council Monday to approve the plat and signature. And once that's recorded, everything's combined and then that's broken off.
Because you're recommending to them.
Right.
And they'll do that and then they'll approve it. Nice, Mr. Mayor. He's shaking his head.
That's what Nick told us to do anyways.
Keeping this legal.
Okay. Since this is we need a public hearing, anyone who would like to speak, please come to the microphone. I know,
You get
but I
three,
gotta do it.
you get 3 minutes.
Good job, good job.
No one is approaching. Public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion now?
I'll make a motion to approve Bill PZ 241247, the rezoning application for the city of Coolidge for regional park.
I'll second that
second.
motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Report from the chairman director.
Well, thank you for bearing with me through this first one. I do have, some end of the year numbers. We've issued about 576 building permits. 243 of those were single-family homes. So, that's a pretty good deal. 8 of them are duplexes. So with a total valuation of about $64 million. So, we're on track. We had the monthly fly-in breakfast. Thank you, Doug, for working that. We served over about 220 plates. It was a good turnout, beautiful weather. We're working on several projects around town, like this project. I'm trying to get this completed and going. So for the sale, to complete some of the mayor's requests as far as this park, this regional park goes. You guys have any questions for me? The Wendy's, yeah, we're working with Wendy's and Arizona Water Company to get them online. They're moving right along. They've had the wind blew their fence over last night, so they're waiting for the wind to stop before they set it back up because it won't stay up. So, Tractor Supply, we're kind of having some issues with them. Their sewer, they're still kind of in limbo, trying to figure out what the problem is. We think their antiquated sewer lines underneath the building that service all of them are kind of collapsing, so we're working with.
They're all open and working fine.
Yeah, they're working right now. The laundromat is closed right now for a little bit because they do produce. But everybody's working with each other and the different property management. They're trying to get the situation fixed. We did get the flock cameras installed at the airport, so we do have some security. So that's good. Anything else, Gilbert? Do we have any? City manager? What's that? Filiberto's, we're waiting on their submission, correct? From the state. We're waiting on their state approved
Yes,
plan.
yes, as manufactured, yeah.
Yeah. And we are talking to Arizona Water Company to make sure that, they get their meters, on time.
Yeah, I talked to
That's
Dennis
moving
about Filiberto's and the plans are all in from the state. We're waiting for the foundation plans for the building to sit on. And once those are complete, we already have
state
the
has approved
civils
those plans,
approved.
yeah.
So it should be moving once we get the foundation plans to put the building on, then that should be done.
The problem is with the manufactured homes, we have to deal with the state. They approve and.
It's a manufactured building, so it's the same as if you build it on site, except you build in the factory and brought out in modules and then bolted down. So it's different from like a manufactured home. It's an actual modular building. And that's what, I just told them it has to look like what you approved. It can't be different. So they said, no problem, and that's what it is. So that's how they built it out. And so, yeah, so everything's moving well. And hopefully we'll see something. I asked Dennis about that. The Wendy's, he estimates, this is just us staff, at the end of February, more or less, because they're moving really fast. So we think, we're hoping by the end of February. There's always things that come up and maybe a utility thing or something that slow it down a little bit, but hoping that's not the case. And we'll be able to get some chili. So,
APS has been on the site down there working on that
yes, sir.
main power pole going in there.
Yes, yeah, they're working on probably, I think they may underground the power, because some of the power poles feed the houses in back. So I think they're just, Wendy's decided they wanted to underground that instead of leaving it up. We said, you don't have to, but if you want to, that's great. It just looks better.
Yeah.
And so they're working with the APS and the utilities on all those
They
things.
they got the pot heads on it and you got the lines into the
Yep.
new building yet already.
And we got Arizona Water said everything's working out with Wendy's. We met with them yesterday.
Yesterday.
And so everything's moving forward with that. So we also we're getting closer in downtown on the Pinal Hispanic Council building. It's getting towards, right now we're looking at water meters. APS is working on the lines coming in. So the building looks really good. And so it's moving forward too. We're just working through some things.
It's basically
Yeah.
on the developers end to submit some load calcs for the water.
Yeah,
So Arizona Water Company can design their fire flow system for them.
So we'll get that all, they're working through that'll be a real nice addition downtown.
Yeah, I've noticed some code enforcement going on along the boulevard.
We have hit the city pretty hard. We've already swept through there once. Now we're coming back with inspections and hitting pockets. Both code enforcement officers I think they're up to about 400 cases each. Now we're looking at dead trees that are hanging over the roadways. They may fall, different areas of town. We're really hitting the street vendors that aren't licensed or permitted. So no, we're doing our best to try to get ahead of this.
Are most of the vendors licensed and permitted?
They are. They just like to move around. So, we have rules for that. So we got to kind of keep them corralled where we're supposed to be and out of the places they're not supposed to be.
Okay, good.
I'd like two things. One, just put on record thanking Parks and Rec. You drive by San Carlos Park with the lighting and stuff. They did a great job this year. So hopefully they'll keep it up because that draws attention to us, and it makes it nice.
I brought it up to Ricky too yesterday or Monday about your,
And then the other, and I really need to change that and go out there, and I should have done that, but, with some of the code enforcement, we need to look at some of the solar fields, because they're not cleaning up their areas, so, like on my house, you can't see that first section of the fence. It's all tumbleweeds now because of the.
yeah, it's all tumbleweed. We drove all of them, we noticed them, to clean the right of way, to clean the interiors. Yeah, it's,
So we'll send code out. They don't clean it up, we'll say.
Yeah, like I said, we just need to look at all of them, make sure that, because some of them are doing a really good job of keeping stuff clean and some aren't. That's
Yeah.
just part of the code work.
Gilbert and I were disappointed.
Nobody looks at.
Gilbert and I went and looked at them, yeah, we,
We didn't look at all of them, we looked at part of them, the ones that we, yeah, we'll describe all of them. So we go out there and we may clean all that up, but they gotta keep clean.
Yeah,
Can't just-
yeah, they cleaned up after the fire
mm-hmm.
6 months ago, but they haven't touched it since.
Yes, we'll go out.
Okay.
Have them.
Yeah, and keeping the oleanders alive, that's part of that code enforcement too,
Yes,
the aesthetics.
it is actually.
Okay.
Can we get the state to do something about the liquor store on the corner of Coolidge Avenue and Arizona Boulevard? About the,
We can probably talk about that offline.
Yeah.
If it's a code enforcement thing, we'll, business, we can see what.
I mean, they can bring those people in off of Coolidge Avenue and come around the front. They don't have to come off the highway, and that highway is a killer. I mean, they're sitting out there just far enough to get clipped.
We can talk about that after the meeting, Mr. Chair.
Call to the public?
Pardon?
A call to the public?
I did, and there wasn't anybody came up when.
No, that was for the specific item. This is for the overall meeting.
Take it off.
Yeah.
Take it off.
Anyone that would like to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
I just want to say Happy New Year and thank you for all your hard work from the city manager.
He couldn't help himself.
What's your name and address? Just kidding.
Gilbert Lopez, 130 West Central Avenue, City Hall.
Oh, they gave a P.O. box.
Can I have a motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.